January of 45. And they sent me to England, accepting the 13th mission. They had hit my aircraft with small arms. And as soon as I was out and knew that I was out, I pulled the ripcord, and the parachute opened up nicely. And I come down, I floated down nicely into a tree. And two soldiers found me or heard me, saw me, and they picked up the rifle and they stuck it in my face. I looked up the barrel of that gun and this is it.
I was 18 years old. The only thing that stuck in my mind was the fact that when they asked you what you did, and they said, well, live with the fact that the life expectancy of a tail gunner in combat is 13 seconds. And I had some rethinking to do at that point.
I flew the B-17, I flew 35 missions. 1944 and early February 45. Take fire of some kind, yeah. If it isn't aircraft from 109s, you get it from the ground. You get a lot of flak.
Which one's coming in first?
I was wounded on my 6th mission. The shell went on through the plane, but when it hit the oxygen tanks, they exploded. And that's what hit me in the back, the legs. And I still carry a piece of flak in my right ankle. Christmas Eve of 1944, we flew to Gross Ostheim. And right over the target, I was hit and lost an engine, so I couldn't stay with the formation. So I dropped down, hoping that the Germans weren't sending 109s over. So luckily I made it on 3 engines. It's something that you went through and you don't forget.
I flew the B-24. That's right here. I was the engineer gunner from, well, I got into I was 18 in 1943. I was in the squadron behind the others up ahead who were getting flak. And we dropped our bombs, turned around and went back, and it was a long, long trip.
I flew in the B-24s. I was a tail gunner with the 458th Bomb Group. Flew 30 missions, and I was stationed in Norwich, England. I found out his crew went down. They were in Italy and bombing the Palessi oil fields, and they were gone. I got introduced to a young lady that came from Germany. So as time went on, we got married. But the first thing I asked her at that time was, whereabouts were you? And well, Schuffenburg was the town, the small town. And I said, well, I was over there in 1943. And I said, I think we dropped some bombs on you guys. First mission I was on, I bombed her, but she wasn't even born yet, but her folks were there.
I flew in one of these B-24. I was a radio operator. Well, we were bombing the capital of Germany, and we get hit by ground fire and knocked out completely one engine and disabled another. So we went from 18,000 feet down to 8,000 and had to get all the way across Germany to get back to England alone. When we get hit that day, the pilot got hit. He took Shull through the knee up to the hip. So the co-pilot had to take over.
Problems, same as most aircrew lads did. We had running out of fuel, hit by flak, caught by fighters, all various things. As I said, I was a survivor and I got away with it. I don't want these boys to be forgotten, because we're only boys, you know. Couldn't drive a car. We couldn't drive a car. We could fly one of those.
I'm holding my grandfather's picture. He is a corporal, Rayburn L rank in the Army. He served as a medic, and he was stationed in Africa and Sicily, Italy, and participated on D-Day on Normandy Beach. He received the Purple Heart in Africa, and it was brought back to his mom, so my great-grandma. Seeing all these planes, it just shows me how much all of these vets did for our country during the time of need, and how much we need to respect them, because they fought and some died for our country to save us.
My position was pilot, first pilot, commander, and I flew the B-24. I think the one you remember the most is the one that you were the luckiest to get back from. And we were shot up pretty bad, but we made it back to base. Railroad yards, railroad bridges, ammunition dumps, some Japanese Navy ships, Japanese troops on a couple occasions. Those were basically the missions we were flying. My message to young people would read the history and learn from the history. Liberty doesn't come and freedom doesn't come without a cost.
I was a navigator on the B-24. I flew 25 missions. We had some fighter opposition, but the first one we saw a jet, a fighter jet for the first time. The first one was probably the most memorable because I got lost, the navigator. I think I was so scared that I didn't know what I was doing. But the rest of them were pretty dry, cold, long, tiring, 8-10 hours at a time. We've got a great country. And it was worth fighting for.